up in England, yeah. You grew up not too far from each other, but different cities, isn't it? So
Yeah,
we're both Caribbean. Shout out Jamaica, one for them. Standard, yeah.
yeah, man.
What would you say has the biggest influence in the UK right now on like UK black culture? Caribbean, so like Jamaica, say Kitts, Trinidad, Tobago, all of them, or the Africans. What would you say has the
Oh,
bigger influence right now? Everyone listening as well, because I know most of the people listening are going to be from one or the other. So send in what you think. Who has the biggest influence in like UK culture right now? Caribbean or Africa? What do you think?
what in music?
Everything, just UK black culture. So fashion, music, like sports, all of it.
They're gonna say I'm biased though, fam. But I'm going with Yard, fam.
Yeah, of course, we're biased, but same way, fam. And I still spray what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm going with Yard. It's gotta be Jamaica stuff.
Yeah, I'm going with Yard. I feel like as well. My main reason for going with Yard is obviously I'm not going to be 100% accurate, but I feel like the whole African side of it has only started to be embraced recently. To get me, like me growing up, obviously where we grew up has something to do with it. But I don't remember a lot of Africans. I don't remember a lot of African music. I don't remember a lot of African food. Do you get me? So, and that's not even in my house because obviously there's not going to be African food and music in my house. I'm just talking about when you go out and you go to places and you see things. I didn't really see a lot, but when I grew up and I've recently, you see the Afrobeats music and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like in terms of on a whole, I would say Jamaica, not even Jamaica specifically, just the Caribbean specifically, has a bigger influence just
Okay.
because I've seen it a lot more growing up. You get me? Now I'm gonna try. Obviously, we're gonna need people to send stuff in because we can't
But,
give the African perspective of it. But I'm gonna
but
try.
even I'm gonna
So
say on that, even though that's the case, I feel that way. Even though it might sound PC, we all come from Africa anyway, so it still originated from
true,
there
true
anyway. That's the
motherland and all that.
motherland. That's
Yeah,
the true motherland.
true.
So does it really matter?
So big up. We're
It
not.
don't really
There ain't
matter.
no
So it
slander in it.
nah,
There's
no
no
slander.
slander.
You
We
get
gotta
me?
get
You
that out
don't.
the
It's not
way.
a
There ain't
difference.
no
It's the same
slander.
thing.
Yeah, we're all
The
one
same.
in it.
It's the same thing. We all originate from Africa anyway.
I think when it on the African side, I think it's probably a maturity thing because I think as a kid, like the whole Jamaican thing, and it just seemed a bit cooler in it. Like African names, you would laugh. If someone had an African name and it got said on the register,
Mm.
you would laugh in it, or you would say African food smells. And I think as we started to grow up, we realized it's just that sort of stupidness in it. And
Mm.
like you said, that's the motherland in it. We're all one. So I feel like the only reason is because of that. I think the whole Caribbean side was just seen as cooler in it, and now that the African side, no one sees it like that anymore. It's starting to have a much bigger influence, and we can see the music artists and we can see the food and all that. Because growing up, I couldn't tell you about no African things. I couldn't tell you anything. You get me?
But, gee,
And I
don't you
wouldn't.
find? I find that mad how I feel like them times back in the day, then we felt like we had the numbers, but really, there's a bare African man in the woodwork, but
Yeah,
no one's calling out
trust
him.
me,
No, and
bro.
all of a
Trust
sudden,
me.
some Afro, when they got the Afro beats banging, every man's coming out now.
Every
There's not
man.
even that many man from yard. There's not even that many.
Trust me. You see, like we had it on smashing it. Like we were
Yeah,
the
we
only
thought,
ones
like,
that
yeah,
came over
we was the
there, and
only
then
ones. We outnumbered. We were only a small island.
let me see what the people are saying.
Personally saying Africans right now, but obviously traditionally I think it was like Caribbean because obviously they came over first in general, didn't they? Like Windrush terms, but then there was Ghanaians, blah blah blah. But I'm saying Africans now because it used to be one of them things where Africans they kind of took the piss a bit, like Af people and stuff like that. In it, it was just a done thing. But now Africans are starting to come through, like Burna Boy. You got Wizkid, like Bear.
Use Africans because there's
Remember a lot of African music.
there's a bigger range.
Yeah,
And,
bigger
and,
range.
and more previously, you're starting to hear that from South Africa, You're starting to hear that from South Africa. You're starting to hear it from Nigeria. You've got even places like Ghana.
Black coffee.
Yeah, like loads of different like nations are bringing out their best artists. So then, I think that's why Africa's got more of a bigger. Yeah.
I hear that. I think the whole generation things is true in it. I think that comes down to parenting as well, because with the Caribbean, our generation, we're like the third generation in it. So my gran came to England, and then my mum and dad were born here, and then it's me in it. So whereas a lot of the African people that I know, their parents came here, and then they're the second lot. So I think that
so
does come into it. Yeah, so that comes into it in terms of, one, people thinking like the whole being Af, that's funny and that, because they weren't here. And secondly, just how their parents move. Because a lot of people say, oh, African parents are the strictest. It's just because they're still on their ideals from Africa, innit? Do you get me? Like the gap between how they grew up and between how they raised their parents.
Yeah,
the gap's a lot smaller. Because my mum raised me. I'm Jamaican, but man's English, innit? Like, I grew up in England. My mum grew up in England. Whereas if your parents grew up in Africa, they're gonna teach you like you're still in Africa. So I feel like that does play a big part into it, and like people not taking Africa seriously, but like finding it a bit more funny and stuff like that.
You know what though? This is depending on how political you want to get though, because depending on who you chat to, you can say that the Caribbean originates from Africa. So everything originates from Africa. So that's argument you can take. But for the sake of the people and war for them, let's just, if you're just talking about culture, the African culture, Caribbean culture, I think it has to be the Caribbean culture. Because you think about fashion, music, all of that, like garage, grime, that's more bashment sound that's coming from that, originates that. And then drill, which will come from like the whole garage grime, that will obviously then come from the Caribbean. Food, carnival, like it's a lot.
Yeah, I do think, because that'll be interesting to like look back on though, because obviously like you just said, the whole garage and all that, that's coming from like a Caribbean like influence. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously now you've got the Afro beats that are kind of mixed with like the UK things, or like the NSGs and that. It'll be interesting to see what else like comes from that, because like we said, not a lot of African culture weren't getting embraced, and I think once the UK like embraces Summit, what the spin that they can put on it is mad, and that's how you get your artists like Jay Huss and that. So it'll be interesting to see in like a couple of years what else can like spawn off from like African culture. Because I'm not gonna lie, them man are wavy, like the dances and that, wavy, shaku on the beat and all that. It's cold. Can't do none of them. Straight yard man, can't do none of them. But they are wavy, so it'll be interesting to see like what else can spawn off from that. What else?
But can we start putting some respect in Ghana though? Because even places, let's put, like, we're talking about Africa, Ghana's like on the vanguard, innit? Like, man told you how to horizontal. Fuck off, actually, deep it. Man told you how to horizontal. Man told you how to eat proper rice, you know, proper rice. Yeah, jollof rice. Yeah, proper rice.
Ooh.
I still stick with my answer, but can we respect Africa in this though, please?
Yeah,
I know we're
standard.
not, but like, more respect Ghana, innit?
Yeah, standard. As we said at the beginning, we're not trying to throw out no slander.
Yeah,
Obviously, we're both.
Rice, the Ghanaian jollof the best though.
Do you know what? I can't even comment. I can't comment. I don't know.
Jollof the best.
Is that what you're saying? You're putting your money on the Ghanaian one.
I've put my taste buds on the Ghanaian thing. I've sampled the Ghanaian thing a couple times. The Ghanaian thing is the best.
That's it, straight from the yard, man. The Ghanaian. Here's one though.
Neutral. See, I'm neutral.
Yeah, didn't trust. Here's one, because I don't think you can really compare the two. Because if you ask me, okay, do you know jollof rice? I know you're not expert, but just quick question. You know jollof rice?
Yeah.
Is it just rice?
No, it's got some stuff in it.
What's in it?
Basically rice. It's got like the different colour and like Some people put different things in it, mints in it, but it's a type of rice. It's that orange color. It's got that orange color.
Okay.
Like,
So my
it's got
question was
distinctive
gonna be.
taste.
So my question was just gonna be: are we back in the rice and peas or the jollof? But if you
Ah,
ask me,
gee.
if they're both just rice, then I don't care. Do you get me? Because it's rice. I can't compare rice. But if you've had both, I've not had both. So where are you going with it?
Cause you know what? Because it's no cap in it. I'm not even a rice and peas man like that. I tell you the truth. I have white rice over rice and peas, so I'd pick jollof over rice and peas. To be honest, you get me?
I
Might call me a
think
traitor and shit.
it sounded kind of traitorish. Man said the white rice first, but okay.
Yeah.
See, with me, it depends on what it is. If you give me some curry goat, I want white rice. If you give me some
See,
oxtail,
oh,
I want rice and peas. Do you get me? It just depends what it's
I
with.
want white rice with both.
No, if you're giving me curry goat, give me the white rice. If it's curry goat, I want white rice. If it's anything else, I'll take the rice and peas. I'm not gonna lie.
Unless the rice and peas is patterned with the coconut. You know when they put coconut in it.
Oh yeah,
That's when
yeah.
that's when I like it. But if
Yeah,
they ain't got the
yeah.
coconut.
It's gotta be basmati rice too. We don't do none of that long grain thing.
Mm.
Nah, we don't do none of that.
Remember the riots when that woman took the basmati rice, the big bag.
Standard, fam. I think a lot of people are feeling the whole Jamaica verse. Not even verses. I don't want to say verses because it's none of that. But you get me. So we got quite a few voice notes just coming in. So we'll
Cultural
just reel
debate.
them off for a bit.
Yes, as a man, when I was growing up, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? I wasn't really exposed to the African thing. And because both my parents are Jamaican, I was born here. But I can always remember my mum saying, African eat monkey head and all this kind of fuckery, you get me? But as I got older and I start to realize, say, we're all one people, I just see it as, we're all one people, man. And should just love one another and build a better future for all of us,
Yeah,
build
facts,
better
facts,
families, better structures for our families, and just get along, man. All these black people separation is no good.
yeah,
You
facts,
get me?
facts. I agree with that definitely. I think a lot of the older generations as well. I think one of the voice notes said the whole Windrush generation, and then maybe like however many years later, the Africans came over. I do think there would have been a bit of hostility. Do you get me? Because it's like we were here first and there. But at the end of the day, everyone's just one. We're all black. We're all hated by them lot anyway, so there ain't no need to hate each other. We gotta get through this. Do you get me?
Yeah, but I think that would change still. Because to even touch on what you were saying, it's like they never grew together. Like our generation, I've got African friends, you got African friends, so we're gonna be cool with each other. They never grew together anyway, so they're gonna
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it differently. They didn't know about each other. It's just hearsay, and as the guy said, they eating this monkey school or whatever.
Yeah. It's facts because, like I said, you got African friends, I got African friends. You learn stuff. Like growing up, I didn't know nothing about no Africans because so we didn't learn about each other. So hearing the rumors, you're gonna think, yo, these man are mad. They probably heard about us having mad raves, jumping off speakers and doing mad shit like that. Do you get me?
Yeah,
So I would understand where like the hostility would come from. But as you said, as time's gone on, we know each other a lot more. We know more about each other. So then it's straight love because, like I said, their thing's wavy and our thing is wavy. There's nothing to hate on. Do you get me? The food's banging either way. So
but this is what
we
I'm saying.
bless.
Even if you combine the food, man, this is the potential,
And
G. The
the
potential.
thing is, in uni I lived with two African guys and one guy that was like a bit of both. Do you get me? So his mum was African and his dad was whatever. So the food, obviously, it's different, but it's the same. So Callaloo, we got Callaloo.
Yeah.
Africans it's the same thing. They just call it whatever they call it, but it's the exact same thing. Like we I think fufu and our boiled dumplings are basically the same thing, but they're just cooked in a bit of a different way. So their fufu just comes out a bit different, and our dumplings come out like more sturdy. But it's all the same thing because when it comes down to it, what we're all cooking the exact same thing, just a bit of different seasoning. Or they might fry it and we dash
Yeah,
it in
but
the oven.
obviously we patterned the recipe. We remembered it from when we was in Africa, in it, but it's just changed a bit as we
That too.
arrived
Yeah,
in
it just
different
over
places.
time it's just
The
changed a
same
bit,
thing, yeah,
but it's
changed
all
things.
the same thing.
Stems from the same place.
Bro, just want to say shout out to Ghana first of all. I know my words may have come out a bit different, but firstly, my friend, like all I gotta say is, if you're talking about Zonto, are you referring to Fuse ODG? Because brother,
Nigeria, bitch.
when was he last played? Zonto, but it's a good dance move. Don't get me wrong, it's a great dance move, but he doesn't get hit that much. But still, shout out to Ghana though. I just had to get that off my chest.
Man's not feeling the Azonto, no. I was
Yeah,
just saying the
you
dance. I was just saying the dances. I was just making the point that the dances are wavy. I don't know what the newest dance is, but I just remember at one point Azonto was slapping. It might not have been on ball, but the same way that I don't know, I won Willie Bounce or something. Still slapping, but that's from back in the day. Do you get me? But it's still slapping.
I want white rice with my oxtail. I want white rice with my stewed fish, bro. Nah, I'm with your cousin on this still.
Man knows, you know, he knows white rice is the
So
pattern.
so
You just
wait
know,
wait wait. So the
you're
rice and
kidding
peas
yourself.
ain't getting
Some things we
backed
just
at all.
kidding ourselves to feel like we're part of, with the culture. Fam,
Don't get
the
me wrong,
white
I'm
rice is
slapping white
better.
rice, but rice and peas still slap with set dishes. The white rice, okay, put this. The white
You know what
rice
it's
is
called?
universal. Yeah, it can be dashed on the plate no matter what else is on the plate. But I feel like with set dishes, the rice and peas just slaps more, man.
Nah, you know what it feels like to me? It's like man, there was on a budget them times. The kidney beans weren't getting eaten, so they just put it in the rice and that and said, "Still, make them eat yam
It
in
might have
a
been,
go."
but it
It's one of
worked.
them. It's
That
not a
might be the case. That
nutritional one.
probably
It's
is the
probably better
case.
nutritionally, but taste wise, I feel like the white rice man.
Listen, I know that African has got their own thing, but even the African music, yeah, the Afro beats and Afro swing and all this, it kind of comes from Jamaica as well. Even though Africa is a motherland, but it sounds Jamaican. You understand? Even certain words that they use sound Jamaican to me. I'm just being real.
Do you know what? I kind of hear what you're saying, because the first time I heard Wizkid, I can't remember what track it was. I did not think it was an African Nigerian artist. I didn't. I think it might have
That's the
been.
same with me, Burner Boy.
It might have been his thing with Drake that come closer. I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking. I remember someone saying, "Oh, this is Wizkid." I was like, "Who's Wizkid?" I was like, "Oh, he's Nigerian." I was like, "Russ, this is the Nigerian guy." I fully didn't realize. I thought he was a man from Yard. But I hear what he's saying. Some of them, though, you can definitely tell. This is an African
But
song, with the instrumentals and certain stuff. But like we said, it all comes from the same thing. So the lines are gonna get blurred, definitely.
I feel like with that, I can feel what he's saying though. But like the bashment and that kind of showed him the way in the because we kind of had the stigma that Afro beats you're not really gonna hear much English words in it. It's just gonna be in that country's
Oh
language.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, Patway. Even though it's Patway, it's still kind of you can
You
kind of
can
understand
get
it.
the
You know what I'm
gist of it
saying?
in it.
So I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
they kind of took that and applied it to the Afro beats, and then that's why they've kind of crossed over now.
Yeah, but I think that comes into what I was saying in terms of the more generations that come into the UK. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure Burna Boy he's Nigerian, but he grew up in England, didn't it? If I'm not wrong, or he's lived in England for a long amount of time. So
I
it
don't
comes
know.
into it the more they hear, it will incorporate more into the music, and that's why you can say Afrobeats now is blowing because it's got that bit of UK influence into it, in it. You can hear the 808 slapping off a bit harder in the background, and Burna Boy will come in with the mixing the two. So like I said, I think when the UK culture gets a hold of something and puts their spin on it, I think it elevates it way more because it's sick in it. We're grabbing things from bare different cultures, and when it all comes together, it's mad. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong, but African music is as big now as it ever has been, and that's because of a UK influence into it. Whether that's the artists or even the producers like J5 and the artists like Burna Boy. I feel like once the UK gets a hold of it, puts their little spin on it.
But I feel
It's
like
peak.
Wizkid and that was popping in Africa way before they was popping in the UK.
Yeah, they
Like,
would have
they're
been,
still.
but that's what I'm saying. Would they pop in everywhere else though?
I feel like
That's what I'm
maybe like
saying.
NSG, like that would be UK. They're like UK based. I don't know how international NSG is.
It's the thing is though, you man ain't listen to Hip Life, which is like African, like I don't even know what to explain music, but it's African music. So like Afro swing and like Afro beats, it's like Hip Life fused with the UK culture. So it's not even to do with like the whole Caribbean culture. That's why it's separate. And just the way to like move to the beats though, like if you look at all these little TikTok dancers, fam, they stem from like African dancers. If you like look at them kids in like the circles and then look at the TikToks, you see similarities.
Yeah, like as you said, we're both yard man. Grew up in yard houses, Berry's Hammond and that playing. You get me? Like there weren't no African music playing. So like I said, there's only so much that we can draw off. We can only draw off what we've seen. But as you said, I'm back in African music was popping, and we can't speak on the evolution too much because, like you were saying before about the bashment music is bashment music, innit? There's not really been a change to it. Whereas, but I feel like that's just because Pat was more not understandable, but even if you don't know what he's saying, you can catch the gist of what the meaning behind what he's saying is. Whereas when it comes to like the African music, unless you know the language, you're just dancing to the beat in it. You don't. There's nothing else for you to go off.
Yeah.
Nah, you know what? I understand 17 BX TI, you know, the curry goat and the white rice, because you know the curry goat and the white rice, it just better. Cause you can see the color of it on the white rice. It's just nice. I just remember back in the day when I used to go to them parties, with the paper plate and the curry goat and rice. Yo, I used to love that, Sure.
That's when you got the. That's when you got the the barbecue legs on the chair when your knees just sticking out. You got the curry goat and rice. Yeah, peng.
Yeah, rice and peas gang. That's it.
Yeah, nah, I'm back in the rice and peas, but when it comes to the curry goat, I need the white rice. I need the white rice still. So we've got about 20-30 minutes. So we'll come off the Jamaican versus African thing. But actually, no, I need to stop saying Jamaican versus African because it's not Jamaican versus African. The whole West Indies
Cultural
and the
debate,
Africans. Yeah. If you got anything more to say, hit us up on Instagram. Just slide in the DMs. We'll see everything.
Yo, Slim Matty. Roll out the whole Mobile Empire.